In the book, WTO Disciplines on Agricultural Support, we take on the issue of, first of all, what do countries do to support their agriculture with farm policies? And then secondly, how does the WTO try to provide some global discipline on that that countries have agreed to? The story is complicated because countries have quite a diverse set of policies. The story is complicated because the WTO has an objective that's essentially economic, to reduce distortions in world markets, but what the WTO agreement actually is a legal document, and it provides a set of rules for classifying farm subsidies into different groups, and then it sets some limits on how much of certain types of subsidies countries have agreed to limit themselves to. So on the one hand you're thinking about the economics, on the other hand you're thinking about this formal set of measures, and the two don't always align perfectly. So we look at that set of issues. Broadly we conclude that the WTO system is very porous, and countries have been able to do a lot of things and still argue they're fulfilling their commitments under the WTO. So it hasn't been very strong in disciplining farm subsidies. The Doha Agreement, which is bogged down now, has been being negotiated for 10 years. That would set some somewhat stronger limits and some somewhat tighter rules. Nevertheless, a sort of surprising result is that major countries like the United States and the European Union, in fact already in this era of high prices, are meeting those limits. In the US case, the high prices mean we spend less, we make less taxpayer payments to farmers, which are dependent on level of prices. In the European Union, they've moved from a kind of support that's disciplined by the WTO to a kind of support which is direct payments to their farmers that don't depend on production or prices, so to speak, decoupled from production and prices, to large payments of that kind, but those are exactly the kind of payments the WTO argues are not so trade distorting and are really an issue of domestic discretion. So that's what we do in the book. We look at these set of issues. It's a long book, 400 pages, 14 authors. We have an exciting seminar which is linked to this video. We have the former U.S. Trade Representative and Secretary of Agriculture who helped negotiate the agreement, the Uruguay round negotiations that led to the WTO. So I encourage you to look at the brief, 8 pages, look at the book, 400 pages, 450, 490 pages, and watch the seminar and hear what not only academics but also real policy makers think about what's happened since the WTO came into existence.